Welcome to the New World Order Showcase Podcast. Your host, Jill Hart, the Coach's Alchemist. Couldn't be more excited to have you join us today. On this podcast, we celebrate the champions of change, the up-and-coming life, health and transformational coaches who are fearlessly stepping forward to make a difference in the world. Get ready for inspiring stories, practical tips, and powerful moments that will motivate you to make a positive change in your life and those around you. We're happy to have you join us on this incredible journey as we dive into the world of life, health, and transformational coaches who are lighting up the path towards a better tomorrow.
Hi, and welcome to the New World Order Showcase Podcast. Today we are speaking with Amanda Smith from the Body Whisper Healing. She helps entrepreneurs who want to heal from minor, chronic, and major chronic health issues to grow their dream business and life faster. Welcome to the show, Amanda. I'm so excited to have you here. I've been talking to other healers today, and this is just like my favorite topic, how bodies work, how healing works, energy, just like the whole thing. So welcome to the show. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jill, for having me on, letting me share all the good news about Body Whisper Healing and how I help the chronically ailed or chronically ill get over that chronic thing so that they can do what they were supposed to do in their life. And generally that's entrepreneurs, since we like to live up to our potential in grand ways.
And those chronic things, they just kind of nag at us and hold us back. So how does that work with you?
Oh, well, so the chronic things are the things that just like you said, they hold us back, right? They get in the way of being able to focus on what we're trying to do, just living. Sometimes they just get in the way of being. And for me, the way I operate, the way that I work with my clients is we first come together and make sure we're a good fit. And that means I can actually read their body, which that's all energy work. I am literally tapping into their body's energy and checking to see, can I see what's going on in their body? Is it exactly what they think it is, or does it go beyond that? And I actually feel their pain, their chronic condition in my body. And so I can very specifically pinpoint, hey, this is what's going on for you. This is what I'm feeling. And, oh, you didn't mention this, but is this going on too? And usually in that moment, they're just like, oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, you can see this. And then sometimes when they block what they don't want me to see, that's usually the spot that we've got to dig deeper on. And I've got to find out, are they willing to go there? Are they willing to have those tough conversations? Because when it comes to our chronic conditions in our body, sometimes they're in places that we don't really want to address. We don't really want to talk about, or we don't really want to heal that thing yet. We're not there yet. And for me, if I know that there's something that is nagging the body to heal first, I got to address it first. Otherwise, the thing that you want me to heal isn't going to heal. And if I heal it, it's not going to stick. And for me, we got to get to the root cause. If we don't get to the root cause and heal that first, you're going to see this chronic condition come up time and time again. It's your karmic thing. And then, of course, there are soul contracts. Sometimes you have a chronic thing that you were supposed to work on in this lifetime. And I can't heal it for you, but I can guide you through how to handle it. So yeah, that's how I work.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So what do you feel about the mind-body connection in all of this?
Oof. Okay. So I did a deep dive into neurobiology this year. Neurology, neurobiology. The brain is such a powerful thing, and we know this. And there were some huge explosions in this knowledge around neurobiology and neurology during COVID. We had the opportunity to really just like find out some of the coolest things about it. So there's a couple of ways to see how this works in the body. The brain is the most powerful part of your body, so it's going to give you the issues. It's going to send the pain signals, or it's going to show up in certain ways. But then, of course, there's the emotional body and the spiritual body, right? The spiritual body is really like that ancestral stuff, epigenetics, that fun word where, oh yeah, you got this through your DNA, right? Your first cell was alive in your mother's body when your mother was inside her mother. You get to experience very directly all of their stuff in those moments, all of their chronic conditions or all of their emotional upheaval, and it comes in at a cellular level. So there's that side of the house that we have to work through, and then there's the emotional piece where certain parts of your body are going to show you, hey, here's this thing. And a bunch of other people have studied like, oh, well, if your left knee hurts, that's usually something to do with your mom. And it's like, oh, okay. So that comes from the emotional connection. So I deal in those four sheaths: the mind, the body, the spirit, and the emotional body. And so
You want me to tell you an interesting story about that?
Yes, please.
Okay. So my mother and I had a terrible relationship. We'll just put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like, she didn't love me. And I know this because she said she didn't love me, which is fine. But, and there was a reason for that. We're all good now.
Everybody's doing the best they can all the time.
It was a soul contract for sure. But I had surgery on my right knee. I had cartilage removed because it was torn. But my right knee this was long, I was like 15 or 16. So we're talking about that emotional connection, and
yeah, that relational, emotional,
it's like
connection to the body. Yep.
Just proving your point for you.
Yes. Thank you. Yep. The right knee is actually dad, though. So hopefully relationship with dad.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, it could have been, and it could have, and this plays out in other ways, and it's every body is different. I can't stress that enough. Every body is different. Because you had issue with your left knee, your right knee had to support you more. So it took the hit. So that's where that crazy balance comes in, and digging deeper into it, like we would have deeper conversations around it to see, okay, is that what was going on, where we were leaning into that right side more and it just got burned out? Because usually when cartilage is the issue, we've got that rubbing and it's an overuse sort of thing that's going on in that joint. So that could have been what was going on. Like you're really leaning into your right side.
Gone.
The cartilage was completely gone. Yeah, that's another.
And they removed the cartilage.
Okay.
But my dad was gone all the time. I was in the military.
Oh.
So.
Okay. Yeah. So there's the connection. Yeah. Dad was gone. Cartilage is gone. Yep. So it's that
it's just stuff, like so cool,
right? It's that emotional stuff that shows up in our body. And Louise Hay, I absolutely love her book. You Can Heal Your Body. That is by far, that was one of my, we'll call it the gateway book to really diving into understanding this piece of the body and how all of that connection happens. But seeing that other people have done these studies as well, and we have common connection, like each finger represents something. And of course, we know reflexology, the nerve bundles are at certain points in our hands and our feet. Our teeth are also one of those points where they connect to the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve connects to all of our organs, and then we're back to the brain, because the vagus nerve connects back to the brain, and that's your nervous system and all of that neurobiology fun. So yeah, it's such a fun rabbit hole.
I know. And not only is your body like all connected, which is, when you go to the doctor and he's like, oh, it's just this one little thing. And you're like, no, nothing is just one little thing. Everything is connected. And it's not even just connected on like the physical level, it's connected on a energetic level and spiritual level and an emotional level and on a chemical level that you're not even looking at. So it's just like, I don't know why you bother.
Because we had to specialize. I can appreciate where Western medicine went when it came to specializing. And they were like, okay, the body is so complex that you're only going to study the brain, and you're only going to study the heart, and you're only going to study, surgery for people that have injuries that are athletes. Right. And
Yeah.
we had to specialize like that. But when we didn't look at the whole body, when we stopped looking at the whole body, which is what our general practitioner in the Western world is supposed to do. They're supposed to look at the whole thing. But even our general practitioners start to specialize because the body is so complex. So I can appreciate it. But then you've got people like me who are like, okay, well, your knee hurts, and there's things that we can do to retrain your brain to make your knee stop hurting, because ultimately pain is a signal from the brain. But also, let's address this emotional piece. Let's address the psychological piece of it as well. And if we aren't doing that, and I can't stress this one enough, if you get something fixed by a doctor, but you didn't work on the psychological piece, it's going to come to haunt you again. I can't stress that one enough. You've got to close the door on the psychological piece of why that happened. And if you decided to go down the hole of having surgery or some sort of major intervention, you've also got to deal with the trauma of that and close the door on the psychological piece of having to have a surgery or having to have major medical intervention. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they do impact you, and they can continue to impact you. And there's science about pain that has to do with, you could be in chronic pain, but the injury is gone.
Yes.
And it is really all in your head, and you can just rewire the neurology in your head, and the pain goes away because it doesn't actually exist anymore.
Okay, I have a story to tell with that one. That's a personal story. So I had gluten intolerance to the point of if I even had just a little bit, I was down and out. Migraines, got very angry, had liver pain, or well, it wasn't, we thought it was liver pain for a really long time. It was actually intestinal pain. But I had healed it. I'd gone to a East-West doctor. She was Ayurvedic MD here in Colorado where I live. And she did a phenomenal job of helping supplement me so that we could heal it physically. But I still couldn't have gluten. And I found an energy healer, or actually he found me, and he became one of my teachers, Cable Jones. I'll name drop right there. Real-time healing, Cable Jones. He worked with me on the psychological piece. And what I love to say about this is, so yesterday, Dumbledore, the actor, passed away. Harry Potter reference here. And I've got my Harry Potter shirt on to honor him. But Cable basically Dumbledored the psychological piece out of my head. And if you guys have watched Harry Potter, you know. He pulled things with his wand out of his head and dropped it into this bowl in the movie. And if he wanted to see that memory again, he could just stick his face into the bowl and boom, it came back. But this is what cable did for me. He energetically pulled the memory out of me that was psychologically stopping me from completely healing my gut. And after that, literally moments after that, I was supposed to fly home from New York, or was it Chicago? Anyways, big city, and it was New York. And he was like, we're going to go get a burger. And I was like, okay, well, I'm supposed to go on a plane and this could get ugly. He was like, trust the work that we just did. Trust it. And I was just like, okay, I'm gonna have faith that this is gonna work. And so I had my burger and I've never had a reaction since.
Amazing.
I know, right? That was
It's
the
just
power of understanding, like that psychological piece is the thing that ends that chronic condition. It ends it.
yeah, it's just so amazing what our minds can do to heal, but also, keep us trapped in situations where it really just wants us to pay attention to something.
Yes.
To
Yes.
look at this a
And the
little more
problem
closely.
The problem with that is we get bogged down with all the details, right? It's just like trying to understand the entire body in Western medicine specializing. It's the same thing. When you're trying to figure out, okay, well, I've got this condition and I thought it was healed, but it came back. What am I not doing? I did it and it went away the first time. I got to level up from the last time, but I don't know what to do because there's too many options. This is where someone like me comes in. My background is mechanical and aerospace engineering. I worked on multiple NASA programs and I was a phenomenal problem solver. And now I problem solve for the body. And that's my gift. That is the true essence of what I can do is I can piece together all of your stuff and go, well, this is why. And this is what we need to do. And this is how we heal it. And people always go, well, yeah, you nailed that. And then when they're healed, they're like, holy cow. Like, I didn't think I was going to get to the other side of this. And now they are, and they're just like, hallelujah.
So do you work with people online and off?
Yes. So I live in Colorado, Denver area. So I work with some people here in the Denver area. If need be, I can travel to you as long as you pay for it. In person isn't necessary though. Working online is easy peasy for me. I work with some of my clients are on the opposite side of the world. I work with people in Pakistan. So I know I can still dive into your body and feel everything that's going on, even though you're on the other side of the planet. And since I'm a NASA dork, I want to try and work with astronauts. So that one's still in the making so that I can test to see, can I feel people who are off planet and not in our electric magnetosphere? Yeah, nerd.
And of course you do it one-on-one.
I do one-on-one. I also do group.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So how does that work?
So group work, this is my Heal to Grow program. It's a 6-month long program. And the way that it works is you come in whenever you find me and decide that you want to work with me. So it's not like we have to start on this date and work done on this date. It's a rolling wave of people coming in. And the way we work is hybrid, where we're in group, but we also work one-to-one. And that one-to-one in the beginning is your body scan. I'm going to go through your entire body and extra body, the auric level and beyond, and find out and piece puzzle everything that you need to understand in order to move forward. And then we'll meet in group and we'll do a check-in and see how things are going. And then I'll give you a little more information that you might need to further your healing so that you can get back to really living your purpose, which that's the ultimate goal. And I tend to focus on entrepreneurs in that group because a lot of them are seeking their purpose. And then once they've figured out what their purpose is, then they want to grow from there. So that's what I do. That's my specialty in the group.
Sounds amazing.
Thank you.
So is are there other points that you would like to make?
Ooh, open-ended.
Not to put you on the spot.
Other points I'd like to make.
When you're working with people, how do you do you work in terms of trying to help their mindset? Is it just their bodies? Is it just the difference between what's going on in their head and their bodies?
It depends. Some people need a different avenue to access the deeper stuff. And then by deeper stuff, it's usually the psychological stuff is the deeper stuff.
Mhm.
And some people need to access it through the body. So we'll address the body, and then all of a sudden we're starting to work into the mind piece. And then we can work into the spiritual piece. And my people are secretly spiritual. They always end up going like, yeah, I believe in X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's how you landed here. But
Yeah, we always call to our own.
we do. We should be accessing information from our bigger spiritual team. I'm a firm believer in this. And ultimately that could be your ancestors, that could be your angels, that could be your guides. We all have different names for these things, but ultimately, yeah, when you land serendipitously with a helper, someone that's gonna really work you through your issues, that you landed there because your team said, go, please, right?
Mhm.
But some people need to start from that spiritual side. Some people need to like understand they have a spirit team, and that spirit team is here to help them. And it's not me actually doing the work, it's them. I'm just here to guide them on what they need to do to help you. That's the deeper stuff. That's the secretly spiritual stuff. Some people need to talk through their stuff, which is the psychological piece. And then we can address what's going on in the body, because the body will hold them back from being able to live their full purpose. So it always comes back to the body, but it might not start at the body. It might start somewhere else. Emotions, that's the other one. If you come in and you're bawling your eyes out, yeah, we're going to start there.
Yeah, because it's easy to see.
Exactly. It's also easy to feel. It's easy to feel when somebody's holding back their emotions. And it's like,
Mm.
oh, and asking questions is my way in. I'm going to ask a boatload of questions because curiosity is something, but a lot of those questions are verification of what I've already started to feel. And it's like,
When
okay,
did you start knowing that you were intuitive and
a long time ago, a couple of lifetimes ago. In this lifetime, I was awake at 4. That was when I personally recognize things. I was extra sensitive at that young age, and I started to shut down some of my clairs. So clairaudient was one that I shut down right away, and the visuals I shut down right away because it was too intense. I didn't know how to decipher it, understand it. But I still let clairsentient, the feeling of things, roll through me. And so I knew my entire life that I was doing this. I didn't know other people were like me until 2016. Yeah, it was 2016 when I met Cable. He came up to me at a conference and he was like, you realize like you're feeling everybody here. There were 500 participants at this conference. He's like, you're feeling everybody's pain. I don't know how you're walking around. And I was just like, I know that I can tap in and figure out whose pain, but sometimes it's not clear. And so in 2016, that was really the awakening of, okay, you can dial this up and dial this down and control it. You don't have to feel everybody's stuff at the same time. And I was like, hallelujah. Like, somebody gave me a control panel to work with. And then I could start to control. And then I could start to figure out, okay, now if I shut everybody else down and I just dial in on this one person, I can really start to help them. And that's when the underground version of what I do started. And by underground, I mean I was healing people covertly. I was not telling them, hey, I'm fiddling in your space. I would check in with their spirit and be like, hey, can I help them? And their spirit would say yes, but I never got a verbal confirmation from them, a conscious confirmation from them. And I didn't start doing that until recently, until 2020 was the first time I got paid to do this kind of work. And then 2022 was the first time that I went public with it. And now here we are, Body Whisper Healing, and I'm all out there now.
How did that go over? I mean, you come from an engineering background, which is like so diametrically opposed. I mean, the people that are generally engineers are like, this is how the world is. There's not any of this other stuff.
Yeah.
And it totally explains to me why you would hide in that environment, because, you know, you're like, I'm just going to deny all the stuff that I'm feeling. It's mechanical. It's straightforward. It's 1 or 0, black or white. We don't have to mess with the gray stuff, because that's not how you get rockets up into space.
I mean, kind of. I still dabble in the aerospace world because I know that I receive certain information that can further aerospace, but also terrestrially on planet. So radiation protection is something that I'm still fiddling with in the aerospace side of the house. But that science brain helps me anchor and ground and be able to stay on planet mentally. Because when I was a kid, my mom would always say, you're such a space case, because I would space out, and I was not in my body. I was, see you later. But the coming out party, it's been slow. It's been very slow. I had a bunch of family members pass away over COVID. And I just, like, with my family, I was just like, you know what, like, y'all need to know, like, I'm still connected to them and we're still having conversations. And I can drop little bits to them of, hey, you know, this person said this, or I'll spin it, because some of them aren't ready to hear it that way. I'll spin it and say, oh, you know, this family member probably would have said something like this, even though they're like in my ear going, I said it. Just tell him I said it. But being fully comfortable outing myself like this took a lot of time, because I didn't feel safe. And safety, if we look at Maslow's hierarchy, right, safety is number 2 on that list. And I didn't feel safe because I know secret societies like to use people like me for higher knowledge and higher connection. And I know that this is not normal. But anymore, what is? I mean, now that we've made it through COVID, what's normal?
You know, the other side of COVID is like the whole world changed.
Yes.
We went through this
Grand
doorway
awakening.
called COVID, and now we're a whole new world.
Yes.
Whole new opportunity, and things that looked really bad before COVID are just like, it's not a thing.
Well, and we're also coming to grips, I think, as a planet, we're coming to grips with the fact that there are certain systems in place that need to change, drastically change, like burn it down and start over, change. And one of those is the medical side of the world. And if you didn't recognize that during COVID, you had your eyes shut and you were probably really sick the entire time.
I call it the medical industrial complex.
It is. We've also got that in
Specifically,
the educational world. We've got that in the financial world. I mean,
it's just like all designed to suck money out of the public coffer. It's bankrupted the country.
yes, yes.
It,
And it's going to continue to do that as long as we're sheep and continue to listen. But people that are listening to your podcast, I'm certain, are awake. Not
yeah,
woke, but awake.
yeah,
They see that there's another way, and they might not know the answer to that, and and we're still as a globe trying to figure that out, but they know there's got to be a better way.
yeah. The U World Order, where
Yes.
everybody is working hard to be their very best. They compete with themselves to be the very best at the gift that they were uniquely given, and they they don't have to compete with each other because everybody's just competing with themselves, but as a group we're pushing each other up, and
Yes.
I love that so much, and I see the change happening, and
Oh, yeah.
it's because of coaches and people just caring enough to step into their superpowers and disregard the fear that they may be feeling about coming out about who they are and how they can uniquely help other people. And it's so beautiful and it's so magical to me. I just I I really love that it's happening.
Same.
Gives me hope.
Well, and if you look back over the last probably 20 years, I mean, we've got the 2008 financial crisis that we went through, and in 2009 we had a similar awakening, right? That was the first kind of doorway of, okay, we're going to crack this door open and some people are going to come through. And then 2012 we had something similar happen, where more people started to wake up, and there was another global event that did that, and it escapes me what it is right now. And then we've got 2020. So there's just been this stepping up and this leveling up across this time, and man, is it a great time to be alive. To watch.
I know, right? It's like I got goosebumps, honestly. It's just like it's so exciting. I have never felt like there was more opportunity for global healing than there is right now. And
Yes.
just to raise the whole consciousness up, because everybody's part of it. There's
Yes.
like nobody is left behind.
Yeah, there's no escaping that COVID was global. There's no escaping that. And now what? Right. And I do feel like we're still in these COVID times. And I think personally, I believe 2025 will be when we finally get to step away from it completely
Mhm.
and step into the newness of what grand future we do have or could have. Hopefully we'll have. Putting that out there to spirit.
There's
Take
just
it, too.
enough people that are like envisioning better a better world for everybody that's, kinder, better, and more sustainable.
Yes. And on a global level.
And on a global level. It's just like it's happening. I don't know. It just makes me so excited.
Same. And what great opportunities, right? You have the podcast that, I mean, You World Order. I absolutely love that name because we are leveling up
Mhm.
in our individual waves, but as a collective. And I say that very specifically, in our individual waves, because it comes through like a rolling wave. So, yeah.
Lots of drops in the ocean,
Yes. And
but
I'm
they
so
all
happy.
come together to form the ocean. They're all connected,
Yep.
but they're
Exactly.
each individual.
Yep.
So, how do people get in touch with you if they want to work with you?
bodywhisperhealing.com. That's where you can find me. That's my website. I do free 20-minute consultations to do an initial body scan to see if we're a good fit, and then to see what direction you should go, whether it's the individual one-to-one version or into that group that we were talking about, the Heal to Grow program. So that's my offering to anybody who is being called.
Perfect. And what's the one thing you'd want to leave the audience with today?
Know beyond a shadow of a doubt that the psychological piece is the last piece to heal in order to end the chronic condition.
Thank you, Amanda. This has been amazing. I really appreciate you taking time today.
Thank you, Jill. It's been an honor and a pleasure.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another empowering episode of the You World Order Showcase podcast. We hope you've enjoyed hearing from our incredible life, health, and transformational coaches who are making a profound impact on the world. Remember, change begins with you, and you have the power to transform your life and the lives of others. If you want to take that next step and unlock your true potential, visit thecoachesalchemist.com, where you can find the 3 ways we can help you for free to spin your talent into gold with clarity, a system, and a plan. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an inspiring episode. And if you enjoyed today's show, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback means the world to us and helps us reach more people with our positive message. Stay connected with us on social media for updates, behind-the-scenes content, and upcoming guest announcements. You can find us on Facebook at the You World Order, or simply visit thecoachesalchemist.com.